Boker Tov, everyone. Good morning. So today's halachot is going to be the halachot of Shatnez. We're also going to do a one-day halachot of Shatnez, even though it's a big thing. It's a big mitzvah to not wear clothing of a mixture of wool and linen. Meaning any other mixtures are allowed. Specifically, wool and linen. The Torah tells us a garment that has a mixture of that is asur. It's asur from the Torah. And if you're not sure, does my wool suit have linen in it? You didn't check it. Then there's a safek. Then a safek deoraita, as the chumrah safek on a Torah commandment is stringent. You got to take off your jacket. So therefore, you got to make sure to get it checked. And it's not just enough to look at the label. The label just gets you started. Meaning, once I see wool or linen, if I see wool and linen on the label, then you're for sure messed over. But if I see wool or linen on the label, then I got to make sure to take it to a Shatnez lab, a Shatnez rabbi that could check it for you. There's plenty here in the city, Baruch Hashem. But if I see 100% polyester or something like that, or other materials, no wool or linen, you don't need to now see maybe there is some wool with linen in it. No, look at the label's enough to get you started. Once I see wool or linen in any of the clothing that we wear, then we got to get it checked. So there is a good question. I wasn't going to get into it, but there is a deeper. It's okay. On a surface level, there's a deeper reason. Kain and hevel, because wool comes from sheep, and linen comes from flax, the ground. And Kain offered the ground stuff, and hevel offered animal sacrifices. And it's like kind of two separate things. Now we're putting it together. That's not supposed to be like Kabbalah. There's much more to that, but that's yeah. So if let's say a person's trying on a suit at a store and he doesn't know, maybe there's Shatnez in it, but because you're trying on, so good point, we're going to get to that. Because you're trying it on, number one, it's temporary. Number two is you're not having benefit from it. You're just trying it on in order to take off a second later. That's okay, and then you'll check it later for when you buy it for Shatnez. Even if there's one strand of linen that's sewn into your garment, it makes the entire garment pasul. Not just that area, but the entire. Now, if you cut that area out, then it's over. But it makes the entire garment pasul, even if that area is something not essential to the clothing. Let's say it's the label. The label is not essential, or let's say it's an extra button, and the extra button is sewn with linen for whatever reason. Even if it's not something extra, even if it's something extra, it still makes the entire garment pasul. Very often in suits, the place where Shatnez is on the lapel, the under part of the lapel, or at the inside in here, and the bottom part in there for some reason. See, I got mine still open. The Shatnez guys, they open it up to check, but they don't sew it back. So, anyways, you got to get it sewn back sometimes. So, So, Shatnez, this Isur is for men, a woman, and at all times. It's not like there's different times of the year that you could wear Shatnez or anything. There's actually one exception, as the Torah tells us in one place, the Isur Shatnez, and right next to it is the Mitzvah of Tzitzit. Tell us that you can wear tzitzit of Shatnez. If, let's say, you were to, that would be allowed. If there would be a wool and linen mixture of tzitzit, technically it could work out. Any tzitzit, it could technically that's not a violation of it. So so that is the story. So two last points. One is there's a Gemara that says that when we come to tefillah, especially now these days where our tefillah is intensified, we don't want any blockages of our tefillah. We want our tefillah to be accepted. So two things that could be blockages of our tefillot is if a person is wearing Shatnez at the time of tefillah, because like you're sinning while you're doing your tefillah. Or number two is if a person stole money and didn't pay back, so then you have that on you, so to speak. I mean, even if I ate non-kosher a minute ago, now I'm praying, that avera is over, so to speak. It's finished. I have to do teshuvah on it, etc. But at the moment that I'm praying, if I'm wearing Shatnez, it's a block. Or if the moment I'm praying, I have the stolen money, I didn't pay back, then it's a block. So we have to have that in mind. I want to end with a story, an interesting story. The story goes with the Chazon Ish, one of the great tzaddikim, passed away in the 50s in Bnei Brak, the Gadol Hador, and he wanted to marry off his sister, and they were a very high level of tzaddikim, and he was looking for a shidduch for his sister. A shorter story goes that they brought a person to go out with the sister, and they were talking in the house. First, the rabbi had to interview the person before he goes out with the sister, and then they were opening the door, and to go to mincha, and they saw it was pouring rain, and the Chazon Ish just walked like as if it was sunny, and this other guy was like hesitating. So the Chazon Ish said, "This guy hesitated. Forget it. He's not for my sister." Right? So they were very high level. So now what happened was, the story goes, with the Stipler Gaon, the father of Rabbi Chaim Kanievsky. So he was a candidate to date the sister of the Chazon Ish. And back in the day, he had to come by train. I think it was in Europe. So what happened was, they came to the date. The girl came home after her and tells her brother, "So how's the date?" She says, "What can I tell you? He fell asleep on the date. They were sitting down on a table to drink a coffee, whatever it was, talking. He fell asleep." So the rabbi's like, "I can't believe this guy is known as like the biggest tzaddik. We heard so many great things. How can he sleep?" So he went over to him and says, "Tell me something. Why did you fall asleep? How can you fall asleep on your first date?" "I'll tell you the truth. I took the train here, and I wasn't sure if the bench was Shatnez or not, because it's made out of cloth. So I stood the whole train, and I was so tired." So Chazal said, "This is the guy that I want," and the shidduch worked out, and the Stipler Gaon married the sister of the Chazon Ish. Now that's a whole question: can you sit on Shatnez or not? There is discussions about it. If you know for sure, then you can't actually. So midirabanan, it's not a garment that you're wearing, but it's midirabanan sitting on it, or let's say a blanket, right? Oh, that's another point. Even if it's not yours, by the way, Shatnez applies even if it's not yours, meaning I'm borrowing someone's jacket. Right? Even if it's not yours, you can't wear Shatnez as well. So he said, trying on, right? No, not because of that, but trying on is allowed because not just temporary, but it's also that I don't have a hana'ah from it. I don't have a benefit from it right now. It's not considered a benefit that I'm trying it on in order to maybe buy. It's not considered. No, you're definitely benefiting from it. You're enjoying the seat. The praying is a different thing. Yeah, the avera in and of itself. So let's be mindful. Yeah, let's be mindful of this. And if you need help to know where to send the Shatnez, one of the rabbis in the Sephardic Kollel, Rabbi Ochayon, he also checks it. And so let's be mindful of this and to make sure that we're covered ourselves in all areas. Minchat tonight at 5:55. Have a good day, everyone.